Chapter 6. A carrier pigeon came in the next day from Ellen addressed to Bruno. She had a high fever today and would like a day off from teaching. She was also suggesting that she wants to resign being a tutor. Bruno called out Falma in response. It looks like she will take a day off today due to high fever. She seems to be troubled by a nightmare. This is unusual to say the least. Falma was unable to say anything when he himself may be the cause of the nightmare, which in some cases can lead to high fever. To quit being a tutor, what a joke. I told her that having a pupil and teaching them is part of being an apothecary. Falma thought that it was better to leave Ellen alone. Bruno, however, I guess you can suffer delirium from a fever, so you are going to deliver this, and it was his beloved potion again. Ah? Falma's eyes turned like a dead fish. If I go, wouldn't that just make the situation much worse than before? Heck, she may not even accept the medicine from me. Even he thought so. He can't go against the order of his father. In the end, in accordance with the order, Falma boarded a carriage and went to deliver the potion to Ellen. Master, we have arrived. This is the mansion of the Bonfoy family. The coachman knocked on the door of the carriage that Falma boarded. Thank you. The trip with the carriage was rocky, but he had arrived at a wonderful mansion. Eleonora Bonfoy was a daughter of an earl. It was not as big as Falma's mansion, but the mansion was quite big to live in the outskirt of the royal capital. The mansion had a Renaissance style and was refined. Please pardon my incompetent daughter, for she is feeling unwell at the moment. If you have time, I'll call upon you from the drawing room, because the son of the Archduke went personally. Ellen's father, who is an earl, received him from the entrance hall. Forgive me, but if she is feeling unwell, then I will just have to return without seeing her. Please hand this to my teacher Eleonora. A letter from Bruno was also given. The contents of the letter told her that if she wants to quit, she will be slacking off. She was told to remain a tutor after the fever was gone. For you to have come all this way, I cannot just send you back. I will call her to come here, but she has high fever. She will come even if she has to crawl. Falma didn't intend to meet her, but by all means, he was ushered to the drawing room by the earl. To think that Ellen came in from the door of the drawing room, although possibly not her from the half-opened steel helmet. He looked at her intently. Ellen, I'm sorry to bother you. What did you came here to do? Are you possibly here to kill me since I knew your secret? Is that right? No, not that. In any case, will you please sit down? Falma raised both of his hands to show he doesn't have a wand. On the other hand, Ellen was fully armed. She wore an anti-divine art full plate armor, only her eyes can be seen. She prepared 3 wands that had high performance. She was determined to fight back. Even though she entered the room, she decided to be as far away as possible from Falma as she clung to the wall. Falma examined Ellen with his divine eyes. The high fever was true, but it was just a cold. Wearing an armor that covers the whole body, Ellen, who was sick, should considerably had a hard time wearing it. Father had instructed me to give this medicine to you. However, looking at this, Falma placed a vial, emitting a suspicious green color, on the table of the drawing room. Because the potion seemed to only have an effect like that of an energy drink when Falma checked the recipe of his father. He reformulated the medicine which will reduce the symptom of the cold. Why, my lord? Although I can make an antipyretic by myself. For what reason did you do this? If you quit from being a tutor because of the fever, wouldn't you think that your own medicine will not be effective? Falma thought but didn't point it out. I will make a compress. I want you to apply this to your sprained finger. He prepared a compress packed with an anti-inflammatory analgesic ingredient. That was authentic and something effective. Also, you left the frame of your glasses. He brought the spare glasses that was in his mansion. Falma placed the glasses wrapped in cloth and the frame of the glasses carefully on top of the desk. Oh, thank you. Ellen, who was prepared to fight, suddenly dropped her guard down. Are you really quitting on tutoring? Because I just suddenly heard about it. That's right. Well, is there honestly something you want me to teach? You are the reincarnation of the medicine god, you know. Having a tutor is unnecessary anymore. You will properly master the use of your divine art, right? Within Ellen, she finally decided that Falma seems to be the reincarnation of the medicine god. No, I think of myself as human and I don't fully understand my divine art. Although Falma stated that he was human, he can't confidently say it based on his condition. Master, Falma, how can you explain it? You must have a shadow to be human. I wonder why I had to state the obvious. Besides, I'm the only one who knows it. Why did nobody in the de Medici's family mansion noticed it? Because it was dim inside the mansion, Falma responded in his mind. Ellen took off her helmet and smashed in on top of the desk. She was probably boiling and heat inside the armor. I want you to continue being my tutor. I want you to teach me more things. Ellen faced showed a look that she got surprised. There seems to be no text inside Falma's mansion regarding divine art. The commoners aren't aware of it, probably because there was tactical meaning to it. That divine art skills seemed to be passed down orally. There was almost no notes from the original Falma. Therefore, Falma wanted Ellen to remain as a tutor. Otherwise, Falma will be troubled without knowing how he can control the powerful divine power. If I refuse, will you kill me since I know your secret? I will never do such a thing. Anyway, with this I shall return home. Also that what? When you had put down your helmet, you broke your glass again. He was going to stop it but he didn't get in time. Kia, Falma thought that Ellen doesn't have any luck with glasses while leaving the Bonfoy family mansion. The next day. Master, Falma, let's go for the divine art lesson. I will be very strict today. Soon after breakfast was over, Ellen went into the mansion of the de Medici's family, alone riding on a horse, in full plate armor. She was dressed like she was going to have a duel. Are you going to tutor me? Or did you come to fight me, a tutor? This appearance is for my defense in case of emergency. It can't be helped. If you truly don't know divine art, you must tell me. I'm worried that you might blow up the royal capital. Or rather I will get killed. I don't want to die. We will be training on an uninhabited island so as not to bother other people. Ellen said it all in one breath that she seemed to feel hot in the armor. The unarmed Falma was feeling very sorry for Ellen, who arrived as a female knight in full armor, trying to risk her life to suppress the reincarnated malevolent god. You're safe. Has your body completely recovered? I'm healthy now. That potion was surprisingly very effective. Even the compress you made was also effective. Ellen dismounted the horse and approached Falma. I don't know the ingredient that made it effective, so what was it? Ellen shifts her new glasses and looked at Falma directly into his eyes. So you found out it was supposed to be tasteless, but she still understood somehow. With that, Falma admired her. That's right, I knew. Even though I look like this, I'm still a first-class apothecary. Yet, it's unforgivable that I don't know what kind of medicine it was. Falma was convinced that was the reason she came back. It was very professional of her. I want to learn every knowledge of Dude de Medicine, medicine god. Ellen had finally started calling him as Dude de Medicine. It seems that Falma's existence has been rapidly increasing within her. No, it's different, because is it a secret? Like having no shadow? Even though I already found out. Only you have been aware of it. They had to at least act normal in public, so Falma made a promise. Ellen will teach Falma divine arts while Falma will teach Ellen pharmaceutics. With this, an agreement had been established, and Ellen resumes her job. And when his father knew that Ellen's fever was cured overnight and had returned to continue tutoring, he only said, it would be so, and his self-confidence in making potion increased. From here on out, the place where the two of them are teaching each other changed from the riverbank to an uninhabited island. During the time, there were several small uninhabited islands that disappeared without explanation from the map off the coast of St. Fluve Empire. However, Ellen can now approach Falma without flinching as a result of the training. She did not need to wear an anti-divine art full-plate armor anymore. Chapter 7. Falma was observing the people in the mansion as there was no lessons from Ellen since she had a day off. Although Ellen was calling it the divine eye, he decided to call it the diagnosis eye, as it has the ability to see through the disease. It was an ability that nobody knows other than his teacher, Ellen. It was a secret even to Lot. The ability was activated by making a circle on his left hand fingers and check the patient through it, but the movement of making it was too conspicuous. The patient will make fun of him or think that he was crazy. He will certainly receive some ridicule from those higher ranked than him. Therefore he made some experiment and found out that he was able to activate the diagnosis eye just by placing 2 fingers with his eye in between. The action was better, but it was still a bit strange. Although he could see the marker in the human body, he needs to concentrate for it. Her mother had a severe low back pain, so he made the same compress that he made for Ellen. Her sister had weak bowels, so he made something like a laxative. When he was walking around the mansion, he casually examined a person he met. He found out it was a patient, since the diagnosis eye showed something glowing in the patient and he guessed the name of the disease. Before the diagnosis, the color was light blue. It turned to white after he diagnosed it correctly. If the diagnosis was wrong, it will never turn to white for good. Also, if he says the correct name of the prescription drug for the disease, the white light will go out. Then he will make the prescribed drug. Although he himself had the training and the ability to diagnose, he is met sometimes with difficulty in diagnosing. In Falmouth's previous life, he was a leading genius pharmacologist in the world. So it was only natural that he had medical knowledge, but he was no doctor. Therefore he maniacally names the diseases even though he has no knowledge of it. Still he diagnosed them patiently and prepares a medicine based on the symptom of the patient. How do you do, young master? Good morning, Marianne. Marianne was in charge of laundry today as they pass each other in the corridor, while she was carrying a large amount of laundry. She was a middle-aged woman who washes the clothes of his parents. Always cheerful, she was pleasant to talk in the laundry drying area. She doesn't have anything bad in her character. Master, Falma, please, you have to go outside. The weather is beautiful. Yes, it is. Caesar. Caesar was a middle-aged man, who was a gardener and always speaks to Falma and suggests go outside. He was healthy too. Everyone living healthy is number one. Falma was nodding and grunting in agreement. He also gave the servants appropriate medical examinations and gave them medicines for treatment using his material creation ability. The servants shed tears with joy. It was said that they had never received any medicine from the lord of the mansion. Even now, Simon the butler was fidgety when Falma's father passed him by. Seems like he had tooth decay. Falma was putting the treatment for tooth decay on hold, as it needs further consideration. Unexpectedly, father has not seen everyone in the house. He was chatting with Lot while strolling through the courtyard in the mansion. Falma believed that servants should be part of the family too, but it seems that it's not a common practice in this world. Because his lordship is an apothecary for the nobles, he does not have time to pay attention to the commoners, even though he is an apothecary of the family. It is the way it is. It was said that an aristocratic apothecary must not examine a commoner. When a servant suffers from a severe disease, a third-class apothecary from the Apothecaries Guild will be called upon to examine the patient. He was surprised that the death rate among the commoners was high because the medicines were expensive and treatment was dubious. The average lifespan of this world was low. Assuming someone reached adulthood, there were few things that can extend someone's life. Master Falma does not discriminate and is so kind to us commoners. I am sure you will be an excellent apothecary. Lot thanked Falma on behalf of all the servants. However, he just said with a smiling face, "It's absurd to discriminate against patients by their social status." It was only natural for Falma, as a person from the modern world, to treat the patients equally and offer the best treatment. When in Rome, do as Romans do. Nonetheless, there are some things that can't be conceded. And now he had discovered another hidden ability when making a circle on his right hand. He can magnify what he is seeing through the circle depending on the size of the circle. To sum it up, the following are his abilities so far. Left hand, ability to create substances. Doing a circle on his left hand, diagnosis I, the ability to see through the disease. Right hand, ability to erase a substance. Doing a circle on his right hand, ability to magnify the view within the circle. I am undoubtedly not a human being anymore. It might not have been an exaggeration when Ellen suspected that Falma was the reincarnation of the medicine god. Falma had arrived to the same belief. Falma should be ecstatic from having very convenient abilities. However, his wariness outweighs all of it. Furthermore, Falma was really troubled that he doesn't have a shadow, probably because it was compensation for his abilities. The people in the mansion hasn't seemed to notice it, but it was only a matter of time before they do. He made sure to only walk in the shade. Doing it that way, he can hide the fact that he doesn't have a shadow. But what about after that? It was still okay if it was something like a divine possession, but what about if it was something like a devil? Falma was anxious about it because it would be troublesome if he told someone and a spiritualist heard it. Come to think of it, Falma suddenly realized while sorting out his abilities, he checked something in the jewelry box. All of the jewel inside seemed to be very expensive. There was a brooch, a ring, and other jewelries. He was not interested in the jewelries, instead he picked a glassware. Here it is. I can do it with this. He collected part of jewelries that had glass and broke it into small clear balls. Then, he heated up the glass pieces over the fire and rounded off the corners to make it into marbles. That was the important part. That day, Falma made something out of glass marbles and a metallic plate in just a few hours. That small work was a simple version of what was his favorite during his past life. He was restless if he doesn't have that one. Oh well, I hope this is good enough for now. Although I really wished for this one to have a good performance, he was not satisfied with his workmanship, but it will achieve its purpose for now. That simple handicraft on his hand was glinting in a flash. Master Falma. His lordship has called you. Several days had already passed. Falma was already getting used to the life in the mansion, and he also remembered the faces of all the servants. He had just finished lunch and now was reading while relaxing with Lot in the garden. Simon the butler came into his room in a hurry and called him out. The butler was the highest-ranked servant in the de Medici's family. I wonder what this is about. I have a bad feeling about this. Every time Falma's father called him, it was always been not good. Mostly it was a surprise quiz of quack pharmaceutics that's waiting for him. If that's it, then everything was still fine. He thought about when his father called him in the past. It was a full moon that night when they went together to the herbal garden. There seems to be a magic square drawn on top of the center of the gazebo. His father had a frantic expression with both hands waving while chanting some kind of incantation, like it was some form of punishment game. It was said to infuse divine power to the herbal plants. Falma, who was bitten by the mosquitoes from the bushes, thought that it was a miserable experience. He was doubtful that his father was really a famous apothecary. He had enough accompanying his father on his outdoor activities. However, this is your job as an apprentice royal court apothecary work. It was the first time Simon called out Falma for that. It's the medical examination for Her Imperial Majesty. Falma shivered as it finally came. Finally, it was his first job.